Happy Monday, Practice community members, and welcome to the final Monday message of 2019. These messages were something that I created this year to put myself more out there. Right? I wanted to create videos. I wanted to be more seen. I wanted to offer other ways of providing content, and they've become rather popular. And while I started these messages just recording me, giving little rants for the beginning of the week, and they've turned into little mini trainings, these are still some of my favorite things that I've created in this community. And I thank you for watching them, listening to them, or heeding a little bit of the guidance I have to offer each and every one of you. So today I want to share some of my biggest lessons, my own personal lessons, both in life and in business from 2019 that I hope will support you in your own goals and reflections for going forward. So why is this a problem? Funny question, right? If you don't take a pause to look back on how far you come each year, it's too easy to pile on the expectations for the year ahead. If you don't take a step back and remember all the things you've done in the last 12 months, it's far too easy to expect yourself to do it all over again next year, or to conveniently forget how far you've actually come in this thing that you're doing inside of your business. So I hope that you too will look back on 2019 and come up with your own lessons and reflections from the year. So how do we solve it? Take a moment and reflect on paper everything you learned in 2019. Here are some questions that I use that might help you as well. If I had to sum up my theme for 2019, it would be, I am grateful for this theme because it taught me. Next year, I don't need to spend time on. Next year, I want to focus on. And to continue learning and growing, 2020 gets to be my year for. Those are some simple prompts you can take to your journal. Give yourself a few minutes, 1 to 3 to 5 minutes on each prompt, and just see what you have to teach yourself. Now, here are my 3 biggest takeaways and lessons from the year. They're pretty chunked up. In other words, they're kind of meta. These are not specific in the weed lessons because those are not going to support you. You might think they will, but what I want you to know are some of the bigger themes that are directing everything that you're seeing coming out of my business right now. The first one that I relearned is that you can always reinvent yourself. If something isn't quite right, change direction. People aren't focused on your doings, they're focused on your being. And if the things you're doing in your business are not making you the best you that you know you can be, that is the thing that people are focused on. So don't focus so much on the actions. Focus on who the actions allow you to be inside of your business. Are those the right actions? And the way you'll know is, are you being congruent with you? And I learned this year that I needed to do a little bit of reinvention. After the last 2 years of my life and being in business for quite a few years now, it was time for a pretty big pivot. And that pivot was more of an inward pivot. I reconnected with something important to myself inside this work. I simply connected with the work, but it was so much more than that. And after rehiring a coach and reconnecting with some of that magic that I myself had forgotten about, I reinvented my direction and my brand and my website and everything else that came out of it. And if I hadn't taken the space to go within, I wouldn't have done any of that. The second thing I relearned in 2019 is that coaching is freaking awesome. It is something that I am bordering on obsessed with here. I remembered by rehiring a coach that this works, and this works every time. And by reinvesting, I became a better coach. Something I remembered in 2019 is that I too need to buy into the thing that I preach so wholeheartedly about. The third thing that I remembered and that I relearned in 2019 is that this work is beyond worthy. Coaching is a proven system for achievement, self-worth, awareness, and so many more things that I could possibly list here. And I believe in it with my whole self. And there was a time when I wavered, and a time when I took a step back, and a time when I wasn't sure. A time when I let other coaches that I don't think are doing an awesome service to our industry take hold of this and define it for me. And it wasn't until this year that I leaned fully in and remembered how much I love this work. Not just because I have this inflated belief about it, but because I've seen it work. I know the results it can provide. The data is there. The research is there. Coaches are there to tell us and show us our own potential and our own future and what is possible for us moving forward. What I love about coaching is that it is a strength-based practice. It's something so powerfully driven because it isn't about going backwards. It isn't about being held by the places we've been in our life. It's about choosing what we want to do with the things we've done and seen and become because of the places we've been, and how we want to move all of that forward. It's pretty awesome when you break it all down. And the moment I decided that this thing called coaching is highly worthy and highly worth my time and energy, I can tell you that the influx in my business was massive. And all I did was start each day, kid you not, pen to paper in my journal, writing about how wonderful I thought this process was. And every week, more and more people were turning in. It's like I had forgot to turn my light on or something. So don't forget, your clients can't believe in this work for you. It's your job as a leader and a visionary to light the way. So what lessons from 2019 are lighting your way forward in 2020? All right, your turn. If you haven't reflected on 2019 yet, go back to those prompts at the beginning of the message and try today's guidance on. I hope you had a wonderfully wild, chaotic, challenging, magical 2019. And I hope you know that wherever 2020 takes you, you are worth being brave with your work and with your life, and especially with your coaching. Thank you for being a member here in this community, and I'll see you in the new year.